do not even try to attempt to understand the job industry because there's no rhyme or reason to it. It does not make sense. We are living opposite day. I swear to God, where one thing that's supposed to mean something means a completely different thing. I had an interview this week on Tuesday with the hiring manager. Before that, I had an interview with the recruiter, and she told me, we had hundreds of applicants. You were the resume that we saw, and we were like, we absolutely need to talk to her. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. She's like, we were talking about my background and everything. She goes, he is totally going to want to talk to you. Whatever, we move on. I talked to the hiring manager. That was on a Friday. I talked to the hiring manager the next week on a Tuesday, which was last Tuesday. I'm talking to him. The interview's going really well. I'm like explaining my background because he is coming from a completely different area in tech. And so he doesn't really understand what I've been doing in AI, but now he's running this AI department. So he's really trying to understand. I'm explaining everything. The interview goes really well. I ask at the end, I'm like, is there anything that you heard me discuss today or from my resume that you think makes me not able to do this job? And he was like, well, the only thing was when I saw your resume, I was worried about your leadership experience because this is a lead position. And he goes, but we have more than covered that. Like, I know you're a senior editor who runs a group of 15. Like, I totally understand your leadership experience. Like, we're all good on that. Like, it works. Okay. And then he also, and it was like, once I saw your resume, like you were the person that I wanted to talk to. I'm like, we need to get her in here, all this stuff, like telling me like how I am perfect for this role. And so then he says, next steps, I really want you to talk to these other people. I want you to see the AI platform so you can understand what you're going to be working on. Just make sure you're comfortable with it and like you got it. He was asking me about how I would interview other candidates like under me for the role and stuff like that. And then he's like, okay, so you mentioned an edit test for those people. I think maybe I'd want to set up an edit test too for this. I go, oh, awesome. Yeah, like great. Stealing my idea, first of all, second of all, whatever. And so then literally this man is telling me I am the top candidate for this position. We're setting up an interview. That was on Tuesday. I sent him a thank you note on Tuesday. Send him a thing, talk to the hiring or message the hiring or the recruiter. And I was like, hey, like this interview went really well. Let me know what the next steps in the process are when they come up. Basically, that was Tuesday. We don't hear anything on Friday. So on Friday, I'm starting to worry. I'm like, I haven't heard anything all week. I'm kind of like nervous. I'm like gaslighting myself. I'm like, did he actually like say all those things or did I make them up in my head and like black out and like I'm lying to myself because I have OCD, so I was like tweaking a little bit. And I'm like, no, he fucking verbatim said these words to me. Like he wants to set up the next interview, all the
Listen, at the end of the day, when you think about the market that you're in, you have to understand that you're basically at the mercy of the employee, at the employer, and they don't need you. You need them. When you're operating from the position that you need them, then they have all the leverage and you'll be disappointed. The first thing that I would tell people is never put all of your eggs in one basket. And again, I understand, I get it. It sounds like she interviewed well from everything that she's explaining to us, so on and so forth. But again, never put all of your eggs in one basket. And what do I mean by not putting all of your eggs in one basket? It means don't stop interviewing. Don't stop going out for these jobs. Don't start going out for these opportunities because you are still at the will and the mercy of them and they don't have to hire you at the end of the day. You're going to have to approach this in the same way that y'all do the dating market. Well, I guess that's a bad example because a lot of y'all are not successful in the dating market. But essentially, you got to approach this the same way that you do in the dating market. Like you may see a dope girl or a really awesome chick that seemed like she took all of the boxes. And at the end of the day, you will drop your whole, situation or everything if you just meet her the first time, or do you continue to do what you do until they prove themselves? And then ultimately you say, you know what? I don't have no use for nobody else. The only person that I want to kick it with on a regular basis is you. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that y'all, even people that have jobs, like don't stop working your job at this point, or don't even look for jobs to replace the job that you're at. Look for jobs to supplement what you're already doing in the event that anything happens, because I just wouldn't put all of my eggs in any basket at this point in any job market. Like you really need to make sure that you diversify yourself. In the same way that we diversify our portfolios to make sure that in the event that something happens in the market or something like that, you're just not, you have the runway to be able to endure until it recovers, because everything is cyclical. And so a lot of people, what I'm starting to get in my inbox is a lot of people are saying that the job market is terrible, that it's in turmoil. I've seen several different videos of women say, man, I thought I had the job. They seem like they like me or whatever. And I don't want y'all to gaslight yourselves into thinking that you got the job or it's that awesome. Just because people say stuff in a conversation when you're in the interview process does not mean that they have the obligation, nor do they really believe or they're saying what they really mean. Sometimes they just getting through the interview process. This situation seems a little bit different. So I can't speak on it from that lens or that front, but y'all just got to keep going, got to keep interviewing. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and assume that you didn't get the job, but follow up and dress for the job you want while at the same time continuing to go for the things that you really, really want. All right.
So today, I'm taking my dog home from the dog park, get a message. Sunday, 4:14 p.m. Mind you, this man's on Pacific time, I'm on Central. So this is 2:14 p.m. He's obviously catching up on emails. He goes, hi, Blake. Let me read it verbatim. This is what it says. Hi, Blake. Thanks for contacting me and connecting earlier last week. We are progressing our interviews with candidates for the role and we'll be in touch. Okay. You literally told me.
You think that they stopped interviewing? They didn't. It could be somebody that you could have had the job. Listen to what I'm saying. You could have had the job and somebody came in and was way more impressive than you. And then they having second thoughts and they decide to go with the other candidate. Or maybe they want to do a second interview with them and a second interview with you to make sure that you're the right fit versus the person that they actually really want now.
I was getting a third round interview. So I'm confused what's going on here, because that is very clearly a no. It's also not like the tone he was using with me. So I'm like, I don't really know what happened. I guess I'm just like really confused. Like,
taking it personal.
How did I go from being your top candidate and getting a third round interview to you're not even in the running anymore? And maybe I'm overanalyzing, but I don't really think I am. I talked to multiple people in my life and they're like, no, that is not a good sign. I asked like fucking ChatGPT and shit and I was like, what does this mean? And they're like, nah, it's not a good sign. So I have given up complete hope, but I'm also just fucking confused. Like, I just don't understand how this keeps happening. And like I said, like, I trust the universe. I know there's a yes coming. It's no's until it's a yes. I totally understand that. But it's getting to a point where like it's really hard to understand where to even orient myself. Like, I feel like I'm just throwing shit at the wall and nothing's sticking. And like, I also do feel like carrots get dangled in front of me and then they get ripped away from me. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm just trying to keep my trust in the process. But like, I just don't know what to do.
She's taking it personal, and it's almost like, you know, she doesn't understand that there's other candidates, and then also at the same time the business dynamics could change. They could find somebody that's better than you. Maybe it's somebody that's cheaper than you, or maybe it's somebody that's just better than you that they're willing to pay. But again, you can't take it personal. You just got to continue to go through the process. And for a lot of women, they get emotionally wrapped up into an opportunity because they're just excited for the possibility of being employed again. And that's the problem with operating desperate and then under duress. And you could tell that she seemed super excited. She probably had this same amount of energy in the interview. You just got to keep it cool and make it seem like, you know, you already rocking out and you got something. And, you know, this is a great opportunity for you. And so, you know, you're going through the process. And if it's a great fit for both of y'all, I'm not going to give all of the game, but if it's a great fit for both of y'all, then let's move forward. You got to kind of dangle the carrot in front of them to make it seem like you're the person that they can't lose out on also. But the job market is very interesting. I'm going to always put a link back to the content creator just to make sure I give credit where credit is due. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Let me know what y'all experience is inside of the job market right now.